University on the blue team. Vulcan up on the red. Let's see these guys match heads together.
So everybody running out of the base. I wonder if they're going to race for any individual positions. A lot of times people will try to go mid lane, kind of where Zuna is, but they would take the other route and get into the brush that he's just to the left of him right now. Neither team, though, rushing into that spot to try to prevent against the evade. Xmithy gets spotted by Zion Sportin. Pings go down. Looks like we're going to have another wardy, disengagey, vision-giving early game.
Well, Vulcan got the early aggressive ward down to that Wraith brush. They're certainly the more aggressive-looking team right now. We'll see if they re-engage sometime later on, but certainly, yeah, GGU do not want any kind of early aggression here. I feel like they are just going to play this one a bit more defensively. Vulcan, though, they are still grouped up. We'll see if they look for something different. All right, meanwhile, Nintendo just waiting around in the mid lane. We're trying to see where these invades are going, if anywhere. And it looks like Vulcan this time have backed themselves off a little bit more. Zuna, Muff, and Cutie down to the bottom lane. No lane swaps here either. And everyone will walk to their own lanes more or less safely here. Double Golems looks like they're going to be here for GGU, and that's about it.
So looks like utility start as well, obviously for both of the supports. We see that almost every time the quick 60-second ward by Muff and Cutie had been placed. And you're absolutely right, this is a standard start. Xmithy starting up at the Wolves, and Nintendo Deck starting there as well.
Yeah, so Golem buff starts for both these junglers. Vulcan doing a nice job pulling on this one, and I do want to point out for all you solo queue players out there, give some help to your jungler, help him clear that camp out, deal some extra damage to him. You generally don't miss any gold or experience spending 5-10 seconds dealing some damage, so help those guys out. Give them a bit of an upper hand, they'll reward you with ganks later.
I actually talked about that a little bit. The extra attacks that you can put in on the jungle camp is so much more important than that first lane minion. Obviously, there's the counterplay of whoever hits level 2 in lane first is extremely beneficial if they decide to go aggressive, but you can wait on that. Letting people get the smiteless red buff, as both of these junglers have decided to do, to get the early double buff by rushing red with smite, is way more important than that one minion you'd miss in lane.
All right, and meanwhile, we can see just these lanes matching up. Smithy going for the red buff here, has ENQ. Nintendo, of course, doing the exact same sort of setup. There's some pressure on a Don't Mash Me, a bit of damage onto him. We're looking for a bit of a counterattack, though. Wow, that's a lot of damage on a Muff and Cutie.
So the early aggression not going well. A lot of times you want to wait until level 2 on Taric to go in with the Shatter. They tried to get something with the early stun, but also because of that Bloodwater and Don't Mash Me did get the rush level 2, and they're really trying to aggress onto Zuna and Muff and Cutie.
I mean, they're putting a ton of damage on those guys. Muff and Cutie not yet level 2, so he doesn't have a heal either. That is a bit of a painful situation. They are chugging potions right now. Again, poked out by the Ezreal Q. Early lead here to GGU's bottom lane.
I almost want to say this is the first time today we've seen a standard lane swap set up without the lane swap
that I can think of.
So the gank up top didn't work for Xmithy. He's getting seen by all the wards. Both junglers should just be farming around this time because there are tons of niddly traps and wards throughout the map.
And meanwhile, you're just seeing Zion just trying to farm his way up right here. Seeing ManCloud actually be the one to push right here. He's not afraid of jungle Trundle, it seems, at all. And it just happily shoving to the turret, chugging a couple of potions, and keeping that push going. I do want to talk about Fat, though, because we saw him not have a very good game against Dignitas. He was up against his turret, but he's got, like, a giant wave to farm right here. He's not really far behind. And it's going to be very important for GGU to not let him fall behind here. Yes, he was in a 2v1 in their previous game, but he fell 180 minion kills behind Kiwi Kid when they were playing Dignitas, and that cannot happen if they want to be able to win these games. Meanwhile, you're seeing, Xmithy's waiting for a gank. There's the EQ. That ward didn't see him, so they're going to be able to wait this one out if he wants to wait for his EQ to come up again. Yeah, Mashme's waiting right there. Bloodwater still in the brush. Of course, they've got a stun from Taric. Xmithy moves forward. They're going to go for it right here. They're going to land the stun. Arcane Shift, EQ, cleanses. He's going to go for the flash pretty soon. Exhaust is on him still. Look at the damage output, and there's Burst Blood. I can hear Zuna yelling very loudly. If he yells, they do more damage, and there goes the kill in that lane. The brilliant EQ combo by Xmithy. Those are the creative ganks that Jarvan is able to create for you. The ward in the river did absolutely nothing for Good Game University, and they take out First Blood. That was amazing. You actually hear Zuna laughing, right? Or at least I can hear him laughing right here through my headphones, by the way. The thing is, apparently, talking to the players, they said that they do it whenever they get a kill, it demoralizes the other team, actually. That if they ever get a kill like that, they'll yell as loud as they can, whether it's yelling TSM, Dignitas, or get that guy. Well, as Muff and Cutie said, he's their hype man, so hopefully they don't get overhyped right now because ManCloud is low on mana, and here comes Nintendo. All right, gets the pillar right there. He's got the little bit of damage right there, the red buff as well. forces the flash. That's good for him.
So he's going to be able to recycle that gank if possible. Mandatory Cloud on Karthus will have to sit back entirely and allow Zion Spartan to free farm, because recycling the ganks after a flash is what junglers do best, especially mid lane.
And we'll see if that ends up being the case right here. Good Game University still actually just fully shoving this lane right up. Looks like that's going to be a little bit of pressure on the turret. And they're running up this jungle. Wraith Camp isn't up though, nothing to steal.
Really just no window of opportunity for them. Nintendude done a really good job early, keeping his farm up, making his one gank matter, and then he wasn't afraid to take some lane farm early. If Trundle can get quite powerful, he becomes an absolute monster, especially with all those resistances he's going to be able to steal later in the game.
And of course, both junglers have picked up Madrid's Razors for themselves, helping their jungle clears. AD carries similar builds. Misfortune's looking like maybe an early Brutalizer on top of that Vamp Scepter. Ezreal with a longsword and a Doran's Blade. And top laners look a little bit tanky.
I would wonder what Zuna decides to go for, as there's a bit of harass going down in the bottom lane, because all the Misfortunes we've seen rush the Bloodthirster for the extra damage on bullet time, but because they have so many physical dive dealers and so much armor shred already, I wonder if they want to get it started earlier in the game rather than later. We'll have to see how that develops for you.
Yeah, well, a nice word down in this brush. Is going to watch for lane ganks from the enemy jungler. So they see Nintendude once again. He's going to get the pillar down again. Here comes the damage on a ManCloud. Needly is 6. Exhaust goes on him. But here comes Xmithie. Can they turn this one around? ManCloud getting dropped so very low. Does not have much of anywhere to go. Zion Spartan's going to jump back forward. There's the kill picked up. Gets out of range, but here comes the Requiem. Is it going to be enough damage? Zion Spartan looking for the heal. Nope. EQ from Xmithie's going to find that one. I'm surprised he shifted out.
And Nintendude X caught out with 10 health, as well as Psycho Sid 1v1 tower dives. Bad.
Wow, really good pickup by Psycho right there. And Fat not having the best game right now, but Psycho Sid, he's a tanky man, he's an angry crocodile, and that is a kill for him.
So that mid lane kill was an attempted counter gank by Xmithie, but they didn't end up coming out on top. ManCloud was already down the flash, so the recycled gank by Nintendude X did end up paying them off. I guess a 1-for-1.
All right, meanwhile, you're seeing the double golems, and I like that as well from GGU. Shove the lane out, grab the double golems, a little bit more golden experience for them. And you're seeing that pay off a little bit, 53 to 44 in minion kills, despite being against Taric and despite First Blood.
We'll see how ManCloud can recover from his death in mid lane as well. He did just get the blue buff. He has a Catalyst to the Protector, and he's going to have to just work on his spear dodging, because he's going to be because Zion Spartan will be throwing those out for the rest of the game. Of course, the AP mid-Nidalees do max that spear. With the blue buff, it's going to be coming out extremely frequently.
And one thing to point out for ManCloud as well is he did get an assist on that top lane tower dive. The Requiem actually coincided,
right,
so we got an extra 150 gold off that.
It was the convenience kill almost, because he was dead anyway, trying to get kills in mid lane. It was like, oh, that helped you too? Psycho Sid, that was totally part of the plan.
Yeah, so like literally he, with 2 assists, it's the same gold as the 1 kill for Needly. Ironically enough, they got the same gold out of that exchange.
Sure
like
enough,
one-on-one.
checking their total gold, Mandatory Cloud actually up in gold in the mid lane, 2,600 to 2,450, so really a convenient team play example there, Vulcan with the early advantage.
Alrighty, and of course 3-1 as well. We'll see how this plays up for them. They're certainly off to a great start. Psycho Sid once again heads up here against Fat. A lot of early health and armor for himself. Fat early tier looking for a Brutalizer. See what kind of cool stuff they go for. ManCloud, of course, is easily farming under the turret. 70 minions on him. He's having a good farm game.
And to get back to that top lane matchup, it is going really heavily to Psycho Sid right now. He's an extremely tanky Renekton, and the Trundle ganks on Renekton don't work very well. He can slice and dice through, and now a 4-man gank developing. They knew that there's 3 Vulcan members down there.
All right, they've got the knockup in there from Xmithie. The bullet time putting out huge damage. Zion Spartan stunned as well, dropped very, very low. Not quite going to fall down, though. Oh, the double up, taking a lot of chunk out of him. GGU forced to disengage in a 4 versus 3.
They ate that entire bullet time there. That's actually 3. That's a lot of damage. I can't do the math right now, but everyone got completely choked down by that. So the 4v3 gank actually makes them run away, and that gives Vulcan even more pressure.
And of course, you're seeing GGU now up against their turret. Zion Spartan getting back to his rather pushed minion wave. Zuna actually just feeling happy. And actually, Vulcan, they've got control here. The dragon is theirs.
The pressure created when there's a failed 3v4 gank, they just knew they'd be able to take it away. Everyone from GGU was low. They might try to steal here with the poke, but there it goes to Vulcan. Now they disengage.
And Zion Spartan got some good damage onto this Karthus, but not enough to really stick right here. Chugs a potion, has a catalyst. We'll see him try to get back into the lane right here for some farm. And Good Game University, yeah, their lanes have not been going well. Are they just waiting for the poke game to start later on?
It's what they're going to have to do, Freak, because The laning is not going too well for them. Fat needs to survive. Poke comps really thrive if they can get to a point where they're just all keeping the enemy stuck at a turret. But for now, Zion Spartan's trying to roam around on Nidalee and make things happen. Maybe he's just trying to rescue the lane. Psycho Sid going for Fat. Zion Spartan on the chase.
All right, he dived right through the minion wave, dodged the javelin. Ezreal ult came by as well. The entire team trying to help out here. Psycho Sid does have flash. He's got the pillar on. A lot of damage, pops the ult as well. But here comes ManCloud. The wall of pain is there. He's going to flash away from that one. Where's the damage going to come from? Zion Spartan, will he look for another javelin? Psycho Sid is low. He's still chasing down Xmith. He's going to go for the knockup. Surprise! And now Zion Spartan's going to turn. He says, okay, Xmithy, I'll go for you. Nintendo, great pillar. He's going to flash that one. Still chasing down onto Xmithy. He's trying to get away. Wall of pain there as well.
Oh, man.
And there's a javelin through the exhaust. ManCloud's going to walk away pretty much alive, but 1 for nothing.
From top to mid, they get multiple people low and finish off Xmithy. The pillars really coming out in force for that chase, and here comes maybe a mid lane tower push. They need to start getting the turrets to get the gold lead controllable in this game.
And that's going to be, if they do get it, the first turret actually of the game. They've pulled that kill lead back down a little bit. Only 2 to 3 right here. Turret definitely low. Looks like it might go down here. Nintendo's still around. Muffin's going to stun him. He's got no support, but GGU are going to back out.
Fat was getting rather low, and they know that the Requiem is up, so any little bit of damage that would get hit would be able to finish off Fat, so they smartly back away.
Okay, and we recap. We get kind of back to our standard lanes once again. 2-on-2 in the bottom lane. Zion Spartan sort of resetting himself in the mid. Early Chalice right here. Looks like he's looking for some cooldown reduction, whether it's the Royal Anomicon or Athenes. And Fat, he's going to have to make his way back to this top lane, but he's still got to fight an angry Sunfire Cape Crocodile.
And he's actually going without boots in the top lane there, so he's really just looking to brawl the Kha'Zix. He doesn't care about his poke. He's shrugging it off at this point. The early Brutalizer isn't doing anything to Psycho Sid's Renekton, and he's just trying to become as big of a nuisance and powerhouse in that top lane as possible.
Yeah, well, Fat comes back up right there, of course, trying to lap.
He's got to be careful. Psycho Sid will just fight him.
Yeah, turret is dead. He goes for the stun. Psycho Sid putting out really good damage. Fat, though, he's got a teammate coming nearby. Where's the javelin? Where's the damage? Throws one. Does not quite land it, but the chase could be on. ManCloud is not leaving his lane. He waits in the brush, pops the ult. He's going to find Fat right there. There's the Requiem as well. Fat trying to jump away. He's going to be just alive. Popping ult as well. Psycho Sid still taking a bit of punishment. Zion Spartan, though, is not tanky. He's got to be a bit careful.
So the only reason that Fat won that is because he got the heal off of his Void Spikes. He used it close enough right before he jumped away in order to heal up. Nice attempt by Psycho Sid to kind of make a 1v2 and a 1.5 v2 with the Karthusal coming in. Got the tower, got out of there, and that's an advantage for Vulcan.
Alrighty, so you're seeing that get kind of turned around right there. Intended in the mid lane, catching the farm. That's always really, really smart in the jungle. When someone has left the lane, don't let the farm go to waste. Pick it up for yourself. But a 3-man group here at the bottom lane. Vulcan's going to actually turn this one successful. They're getting their second now turret kill of the game. This is looking very good for them.
And a lot of that bottom kill had to do with how well Psycho Sid was doing top, because all of the roam that Zion Spartan had done to relieve pressure in top could have been used bottom to save the turret instead, because he wasn't able to do that because they knew that Zion Spartan wasn't going to be coming down. Vulcan could freely push that bottom turret.
But of course, now we've got a 4-man group here in the bottom lane. However, they've got basically 4. Oh, the bullet time's going to completely shred the minion wave. That's pretty smart.
It's actually funny. Old Misfortune used to do that pretty much as the only use for ultimate because it had a really long wind-up time. But a couple months ago, we changed Misfortune's ultimate to be a quick wind-up, and now you can actually use it reactively in team fights instead of just to clear waves like that.
And just kind of, you know, bringing up the old habits, keeping the turret alive. But here comes the push on Nintendo. Look at the damage. Forced to pop Lulu ult. Kha'Zix is here, though. A little bit of damage on the Muffin Cutie. Ezreal ult as well. A lot of buttons pressed right there. Not quite any kills, but low health bars.
Wonder if Xmithy's going to try to stop them from going back in that bottom lane. He goes on to Nintendo.
A lot of damage on him up in the bottom lane. No, he's gotten away, but Mash Me. Whew, pressure everywhere.
So a very strange looking game here. There's been a lot of just side lane tower pushes. It looks like Vulcan now has the pressure advantage. GGU got starved out in that first game, and they have to be careful that this doesn't happen again. They need to find a way of grouping up and sieging turrets to make their poke composition work.
All right, we'll see what they end up getting at this one. Of course, they've got a ward, but the blue buff is there. So as far as poke is concerned, Nidalee with blue buff is a pretty happy person. A little bit of ability power on her. We'll see when the push actually starts. However, Xmithy, because of the ward on blue buff, actually knows he can take this red for free, possibly, and he does.
Managed to get in there with the flag toss over the Dragon Pit, right on the way back out. And we were talking about junglers maybe falling behind in farm, as Nintendo actually could get turned around here. xMithi goes back, ManCloud walks away.
Yeah, he'd already burned the pillar in the Dragon Pit, so nothing there. Top lane, though, you just see Fat get chunked. That was one combo, by the way, dropping Fat down to about 3/4 health. So it's only going to be that 3 more times before he falls over. He's got to be a bit careful here. You can just see him trying to wave clear, keep that alive. Psycho Sid very aggressive.
And this is a consistent problem today for GGU. Fat getting dominated by Renekton so far. Psycho Sid really just keeping the pressure here. And this is sucking everyone else on GGU back as well. They're not able to cycle up with their poke composition because one half of the main poke, which is going to be Fat's Kha'Zix, doesn't even have his leap if they want to chain a team fight yet with the second evolution, and he's trapped in bottom lane against Psycho Sid.
And that is just kind of harsh to be. Now we're seeing GGU group up a little bit more than normal. Mashmi's come up into the jungle. They know Dragon is back up, and that looks to be sort of the area of contention, but a lot of pink wards here for Vulcan.
They might be trying to force this one. They know it's a 4v4 because there's a Renekton pushing the side lane. The turret, the pillar comes in, and here comes the fight.
Okay, they get the Dragon at first. Muffin Cutie down below half. Will they go for the engage? What are they going to look for here?
Doesn't look like they're going to be able to find anything. That's a good pillar, but it just burns a flash, and they're down a Dragon. Yeah,
flash for Dragon. That's a pretty good trade. I think that'll be pretty all right. GGU, though, regrouping. Can they find anything onto Karthus? Chunk him down. There's the pillar again. Layway's going to turn them around. Oh, man, those javelins are hurting quite a lot. But GGU, they're going to start the push.
So finally, they have 4 people in the mid lane. They have a fairly low turret. They might get this first one. Vulcan doesn't look to be able to defend. They should continue the push for their poke comp.
They've got the pillar down. They've got low cooldowns on javelins. Not quite going to land that one. However, Karthus wave clear is really stopping GGU from going anywhere, and they run back down into their jungle.
I just wonder how they're going to come back in this game. They had a lot of people of Vulcan low and needing to shop. They had the blue buff on Zion Spartan. They had Psycho Sid backing up. They needed to push the mid harder with that window, but they decided to go back, and they have something else planned.
Well, at least Fat, for his own sake, is actually keeping more or less up with Sid. Certainly that kill happened a while ago, but he's only down 8 minions now. So compared to the game against Dig, he's actually scaling himself. I mean, can GGU just wait and scale late game, get bigger javelins, more void spikes?
Sometimes the poke compositions can make it late game, but it's really difficult for a poke comp to come back in a game, because once you just 100% lose every team fight, there's not much, you know, if you're turtling with your poke, you're not really accomplishing anything. It's all about getting the turrets. They have to jump on Vulcan as soon as possible, Freak.
All right, well, you're seeing them kind of, at least Needly is jumping around quite a little bit. Psycho Sid back to the bottom lane here. Bloodwater. Looks like it's going to be a 2-on-1 because they've got Ezreal coming down, but Psycho Sid sort of perennially the split pusher here. He's going for that. Nice damage on a Jarvan. He's going to run away from that one with the EQ combo. Flag toss helping him out. GGU grouped up back towards the mid lane a little bit, but Mashmi's still far away.
And if we look at the item thresholds right now, you can see that there's a lot of completed big items on Vulcan and not nearly as many on GGU. There's just the Brutalizer on Fat, there is the Locket of the Ion Solari on Nintendude, but there's a needlessly large rod sitting on Zion Spartan and then just the Bloodthirster on Don't Mash Me. Vulcan's got Sunfire Cape, Locket, Rod of Ages, Bloodthirster. They're really right there right now, so they can continue to push up. They have an edge in almost every lane, almost every 1v1. And if they keep the poke at bay, they're going to be fine.
And you're seeing Psycho Sid put out some really good damage against Mashmi. Mashmi, at least for his own sake, can steal it back with Bloodthirster, but still, that is a scary crocodile over and over and over again. And now you talk about the defensive poke not getting much going. Well, GGU defensive with their poke. Look at the push from Vulcan. 3 turrets for them.
All 3 taken down. This is kind of the starvation moment where GGU will have to make something happen and doesn't want to let themselves get starved out, like we saw TSM do to Marn just in the previous game. 4 grouped up for GGU. Maybe they're going to try an extended mid push.
Well, they are definitely right here. Of course, without an AD carry, we'll see how that pans out. Wow, that Javelin is hitting pretty hard now against xMithi. Death cap is done. We'll see what they go for right here. They are up to this turret. The damage is there. They are really chunking that jungler low. But you just see the wave clear coming back here. They have at least Fat here, so they have some more. The damage onto xMithi. That is a painful needly.
Yeah, and they did the swap here. They're actually trying to defend with Don't Mash Me so they can get the superior poke of Kha'Zix to combo with the Nidalee Spears, and this is why this poke may be working here. It's on Vulcan. They're shopping in waves trying to keep the turret up, but this push might be able to continue. Vulcan doing everything they can to try to keep that wave back.
And you're just seeing that the bullet time now twice used to keep a turret alive a bit longer. We saw last time that bottom turret did not go down because of this, and this time we're seeing the second mid turret again in the same situation.
Well, they barely got any of that turret, Freak, so the swap did seem like it was working because they did force Vulcan back a bit. They did give Don't Mash Me essentially every lane minion he wanted, and they were able to repel Psycho Sid with just an Ezreal. Look for them to do that again now that Zion Spartan's got the blue buff. He was out of mana, that's probably why he disengaged last time. So we'll see if the poke comp can work on the second or third round mid.
We'll see what they end up going for. Of course, Zion Spartan's still with the wave. They're getting a pretty good amount of farm immediately. But let's not discount the 176 here on Misfortune, the 172 on Karthus. They've got some very, very well farmed late game carries here on Vulcan.
And the Black Cleaver was completed by Zuna on his last back. He did end up going Brutalizer to Bloodthirster and then to Black Cleaver, so he wanted to get all the AD into that bullet time right from the start. And the Karthus Wave Clear is actually doing a really good job at blocking this poke composition from working. Might have been why they picked it last.
Yeah, it definitely worked pretty well for them. You said that they needed something that really wasn't right, something long range, something to work right here. Karthus, with the engage for the wall, and as well, you're just seeing these minions really fall away fast. GGU, they've not been in sight of an enemy turret in quite some time now.
This game's been just mid lane
Yeah.
for a while, and the turrets, the outer turrets in mid have been gone, and neither team has had enough of an edge to kind of push back at each other. So GGU not getting starved out, which is a good accomplishment by themselves.
Yeah, we saw that a lot before when it was the three outer turrets going down and the teams were like, just stop getting gold for the most part.
Time to turtle.
Time to turtle. And yeah, GGU are looking for something, but Smithy's looking even harder. Is he going to go for something? He gets the knockup just onto 2. Will they go in? Bloodwater getting slowed, but Whimsy is there. No engage.
The disengage is strong in these ones. They didn't even have to burn really any ultimates to go out. Xmithy didn't want to burn his Jarvan ultimate to go in. It probably would have been forcing a little too hard. And now the push and counter push back and forth in mid lane continues.
Let's see what they can get out of this one, of course. The Ezreal coming across 3 or 4. Nice Javelin as well. And they still have Don't Mash Me at that bottom lane. They are playing 4-on-4, but there comes the re-engage. Oh, they have found a lot of damage right there. The flash disengage from everybody. They've managed to not die, which was actually an impressive feat because that looked scary.
The mark of a good poke comp is that they're able to disengage. The Lulu Walt saved. The Trundle Pillar went up at the end. The Glitter Lance came through, and Vulcan, since they didn't kill in the initial burst, couldn't finish.
They only burned 1 flash for it. That was pretty impressive there, but Vulcan put so much damage down, they've got control over Dragon. They're going to look to extend this gold lead unless GGU can stop them here.
Looks like they might have been looking for a fight, but the pillar went down early, the wall goes down, and wow, Fact jumps in.
Yeah, he had the slow available. He burned the flash from Xmithy, who had no mana. Another pillar there onto Buff and Cutie. Can they follow this one up? Nintendo looking a little bit defensive. A ward goes down in the back. There's a nice Javelin. Can they find another pillar soon? Can they find the damage? The flash in from Fat. Buff and Cutie getting low. Zion Spartan's going to pick that one up. Now, can they turn this around? They've got a 5-on-4 on the map. Mashme's around. They're going to turn that one back and look for a push.
The mid lane is about half pushed, though, for Vulcan. They might be able to shop and get back to that turret, so the long chase, Dragon for kill, does give a slight edge to Vulcan, assuming they can hold that mid turret, but with everyone GGU backing, it's going to happen.
They're not finding the push. They are just staying out of sight of that turret right now. Javelin dodged by Zuna. He's still getting nice and farmed right here. And yeah, GGU are resetting their lanes again.
One big purchase for Disengage that just came out from Good Game University, cooldown boots on Trundle. So his pillar is now sitting in an 8.25 second cooldown. It actually persists for about 6 or 7 seconds on the map, so it's at about a 75% uptime right now on Trundle. That's going to be very difficult for Vulcan to walk through when they try to get team fights, and this poke comp could go on for a while.
And of course, we're just going to see what these guys do about this, because Zuna farming up the top lane, Mashme still farming down at the bottom. These AD carries really getting themselves a lot of gold in this game. And we generally talk about GGU and Vulcan both. We said that they sort of tend to focus on Mashme and Zuna a bit. They tend to be the best performing players right here. But right now, all the aggression is really on, it's kind of up to Zion Spartan to start anything because of those javelins. And Mashme's just kind of stopping Sid from pushing. He's getting late game. He's getting there, but like he's not been a factor yet.
It's going to be really interesting to see how these teams decide to take matters into their own hands, because we actually seem to be at an impasse in this game. I mean, yeah, maybe Zuna can yell really loud, power up, and they can jump into a fight. I don't know.
I mean, they're at least 3-3 in kills, so Zuna had 3 opportunities to yell so far in this game. If he wanted to yell for dragons, he could have just shouted them to death. But at the very least, we'll see what ends up happening. The poke comp is defensive this time now. GGU are forced to their front door. The push from Karthus has been very successful there. We'll see if they look to group up. I mean, well, they are grouped up. They're 4-mans, but will they push forward? That's the question.
And since Don't Mash Me is being the split push defender, he actually went for that Iceborne Gauntlet, which gives him a bit of solo potential onto Psycho Sid.
Yeah.
It's actually fully repelling Renekton trying to lane pressure, and it might have the effect of eventually making all 5 from Vulcan group up for the split push. We'll have to see how that plays out, though.
And Mash Me, of course, he's actually going to get some pressure on this turret. He'll get in range before Renekton is, and if he actually can spot the rest of the team, could he just stay there and just like start pushing away Renekton and go for the turret himself?
They might just try to do a split push with him. If he's able to completely handle Renekton, the question becomes, well, what can handle Don't Mash Me as a split push Ezreal? And right now, I don't know. It's just a matter of Vulcan hard engaging somehow.
Nick Smith is going to walk through. Nice EQ is going to get him through the wall right there, just out of range of Nintendo. That pillar, though, really, that's pretty impactful here. We'll see what they go for. They've got Men's in mid. They're going to go for a little bit of push. Nice damage on a Muffet Cutie. And now the turret is in range. They're putting damage on it for the first time in 10 minutes. But here comes the re-engage. Oh, they have found Fat. He's going to jump away. What's going to be next up here? Nintendo. He's going to get caught up a little bit. He's popped his ult already. He's draining stats away from Jarvan, but he's burned his flash.
So they did get the flash, but it did cost them the Jarvan ultimate and a bit of turret damage. Man Freak. Poke comps.
Poke comps, man, they're doing a very good job disengaging. I remember when we looked at the European LCS, there was actually a match of Millennium versus MYM, and MYM managed to basically stop these poke comp by teleport home guard Jace in from a ward and just like flash Q'd a guy and started the fight, and they just eviscerated Millennium with that kind of engage. I mean, Vulcan, they've got Jarvan. I mean, he can dunk that team and start fights.
He can dunk them to a certain extent, but there's a lot of people that can just hop right out of that. Ezreal, Nidalee, and Kazakhstan all go, and here comes round 19 of them trying to engage. They get Nintendo!
They got him right away. Fat forced to jump away as well. Smithy's still up in the front. Here comes the Requiem as well. What are they going to look for here? He's going to have the cooldowns back in just a second. Nice disengage. Bloodwater also forced to flash, and that is, what, 2 flashes and a kill force now.
So now that they've burned enough flashes, they hope they got the one down on Nintendo and the one down on Kazakhstan Lulu. I mean, they're all kind of down right now. If Vulcan forces something quite hard in the next little window, they might be able to take some kind of edge.
All right, Fat now is forced to farm up in the top-hand side right here. 207 minions on him. You're seeing a very different build compared to his top-laning opponent, though. He's all about damage. Renekton's all about tankiness, being that frontline beef. See if that ends up being a useful build right there. Psycho Sid, of course, once again forced to recall back. That split push against Mash Me not doing a heck of a lot.
And Mash Me spent a whole bunch of time in that lane. He's got about 1,600 gold now he's going to go back and shop with. And that last little engagement by Vulcan hopefully gives them enough confidence to start forcing something. I mean, they have such an advantage in a 5v5 fight. If they could just somehow force GGU to engage on them, like forcing a Baron, they might be able to pull something off.
And wow, actually interesting pickups here for Ezreal. Cooldown boots and a Tear of the Goddess. That's what he spent, Ezreal.
Ooh, yeah, kind of neat. I mean, if he's going for this, if he's just going for the straight up poke, that means more Mystic Shots, more W's. Here's the fight in mid.
And they've got Nintendo with the ult on. Of course, Fat forced to jump away again. We're hearing yelling from Zuna. What are they going to look for? An exhaust on Zion Spartan. Good poke disengage. Mash Me towards the front lines, actually. A lot of damage onto him. He's forced to run away as well. Fat should have his W back up. Iceborne Gauntlet slow. Another Javelin. Xmin's going to look for something. Does not put the E down first. Oh, the damage from the ultimate so high. They picked up one. Here comes Psycho Sid. He's going to find Zion Spartan. Can they get the damage onto him? They put the exhaust. Zion's still getting burned to death. He is going to fall down. That's 2 for nothing so far. Will they find anything else? ManCloud, Zuna, they're still there. The poke, somewhat available. Nintendo looks to re-engage. Zuna gets crushed right there by Mash Me. The pillar helping that one out. Mash Me taking Qs. They've got to be a little bit careful about that. And there's the ult. What's it going to be for Requiem? Mash Me. He is not going to fall down. The shield a bit late, but he still lives.
So a really long 2-for-1 fight. That was Vulcan showing their strength, really trying to brute force their way through Good Game University.
And they certainly managed to do that, of course. The brute force did pick up some kills. Mash Me forced the top farm at this top lane right here. Got 274 farm. He is very, very rich right here, but...
Yeah, it was a little bit of low damage, too, coming through in that fight. For how long Vulcan was chasing through and getting kited, Don't Mash Me wasn't able to cut down too many. He's went huge utility on that Ezreal, and it's really just all in for the poke. But a lot of times, if you want to make a poke composition work, you do need to have some of that actual combat effectiveness when the other team does force you into a corner and brawls you, and it doesn't look like GGU has that quite yet.
We'll see if that ends up panning out for them, of course. Ezreal still trying to power up. Looks like a pickaxe picked up here, so that looks like Last Whisper, I would guess. ManCloud back to farming, stopping the mid lane push, doing a good job of that. Smithy now taking up the bottom lane farm. They've kind of gone back to the lanes for now. However, GGU, they are grouped up in mid a little bit again.
And it's just rinse and repeat for these guys. About a 1,000 gold advantage has gained in about the last 5 minutes for Vulcan here. The armor shred is in full effect for Zuna, and really the rest of Vulcan, since Misfortune was the only one that couldn't shred armor, and then she bought the Black Cleaver. Now they have 4 armor shredders on top of Karthus, so...
He shreds MR, so
yeah,
heck.
It's a matter of just waiting for Vulcan, for GGU to make a mistake.
Yeah, and when that happens, you know, when the flashes are down, Jarvan just goes EQ Demacia, and the people die finally. So certainly,
let's hope so.
Yeah, man. When he yells Demacia, we're gonna hope he does that. It's a random chance, but he does yell it sometimes.
So maybe they'll go for a forced Baron at some point. They weren't able to get a turret down on their last push. The thing that happens, you know, another thing that happens when fighting poke comps is you get tired of it. But now GGU actually looking to push into Vulcan. That may be their mistake.
They're taking a lot of damage on Nintendo. He has ulted there. There's the dunk back forward. He's going to be forced to flash away again.
Oh, wow.
A lot of crowd control. Are they going to find ManCloud? Fat must run away. Nice heal comes out there from Muff and Cutie. They're re-engaging those. Sid taking a lot of punishment. The Iceborne Gauntlet really helping them. He actually goes back in to buy time for his team. There is 1 kill picked up. It's time for them to look for something else. Zuna gets poked down. Smithy, Muff and Cutie still around there as well, but it's a 5-on-4. They might actually look for this turret this time.
GGU may be lulling Vulcan a little bit. They didn't expect them to invade their own Baron area, and now the mid turret goes down. People on Vulcan are low. This push could continue.
They have a cannon minion there, and there's no bullet time to stop the minion wave. Smithy goes back in. They found Zion. They found Bloodwater. A lot of damage. Zion's going to jump back. ManCloud in the front. Smithy goes down. They found 1 for 0 so far. And V are going to back right. Oh, the javelin from Zion. Spartan picks up another. There's the Requiem. Is it going to be enough? No, Fat takes a heal. He's going to be fine. And the push is going to continue.
And they just keep the heals up with Nidalee. They're going in for Zuna. The kills keep going. That's 4.
Oh my gosh, there are 4 now dead right now. Only Muff and Cutie is alive, and GGU are onto the inhibitor. I don't think Tarek, as fabulous as he is, can 1v5 this.
So Vulcan spent so long trying to engage GGU and it just didn't work, and as soon as they got 1, they just continued to poke and push, and the inhibitor just broke for them. They were behind on a poke comp and they were able to come back. They're now only down 1,500 gold. With the inhibitor, that's really tough for Vulcan.
Wow, that is an impressive move right there by GGU. They checked the dragon, saw it was down. They're going to recall back. Now, thankfully for them, they've got ward coverage, so Baron's not on the table just yet. But the thing is, Vulcan, despite all that, they're actually up in gold, so I don't want to sell them too short right here. They've got gold. They've got what you would generally consider a lead, but GGU have turned what looked like a losing game the entire time to one with quite the hope there.
Well, a couple things have happened for GGU that's helping them pretty largely here. Don't Mash Me, countering the Renekton split push was the best call GGU made all game.
Yeah.
316 minion kills. His items are getting very large right now. He's got a huge amount of cooldown reduction, and that combined with Continued X's cooldown reduction on Trundle Pillar is allowing them to just pick wherever they want to fight. They're continually controlling Vulcan's positioning, and they have just enough damage from the Nidalee Spears, from Kha'Zix's poke, and from the persistent damage from Don't Mash Me since he's so farmed, that it might be working for him.
And as well, Fat's been having a much better game here as well. You're seeing 244 minion kills on him. They've got a little bit of action here at this top side, actually. Another turret does go down. That was Fat mostly soloing it, and GGU have turned their pressure now up here, while Don't Mash Me is actually splitting mid.
And GGU needs to just continue the poke here. They know that Don't Mash Me is mid, and if they go in for a fight here, Don't Mash Me is going to push straight up mid and try to go for Nexus turrets. Vulcan can't engage.
Oh man, and that pillar, of course, stopping the push as well. A stun on Design Spartan doesn't turn into much. Woof! Muffin taking a lot of damage. Mash Me is now putting the minions all the way up into the base. That is going to be some damage. Another pillar goes down. Psycho Sid not able to run very fast. Another javelin. Here they go. Jumping back from Fat, and there's the Demacia. Smithy is up in there. Bloodwater caught up. Muffin Cutie getting bursted down first. There's the bullet time. Bloodwater's going to get out. The team has disengaged, but they lost Zion Spartan. So that is a 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Mash Me has pushed the bottom lane. He's going to find another turret for himself. They traded 1-for-1 and picked up a turret.
GGU is completely okay with that. Zion Spartan will be back. They know that Vulcan is contained to their base because of Don't Mash Me split push, and if they don't go back immediately after that, they're going to lose another turret.
And Zuna's going to be on duty to stop that one around. Of course, he does run faster until Ezreal hits him.
ManCloud caught out.
Oh my gosh, the damage output. Look at the burst. The Trundle Pillar helping that one out quite a bit as well. Requiem goes off, but no one's really... Actually, Mashme was quite low. He took some damage from that one.
There was a bit of a brawl in the bottom lane while all that was going on, so two fights really happening at once. And Mashme being cute here, this could be a brawl with Zuna. There's also Xmithy coming down. Mashme is going to be able to back away.
He is going to back away, but he did have Flash there. That would have been a little bit of a scary place to be in Ezreal. However, Vulcan are now stuck inside their base, and Karthus is dead for 30 seconds. So there is some time here for GGU to make a move.
And the biggest thing I noticed in that last 4v5 that GGU fought is they packed a pretty good punch to the initial initiator. I mean, Muffin Cutie went down quick. I think that was the Trundle ultimate combined with just Kha'Zix actually having a lot of items, as you said.
Yeah.
Fat doing better in this game. GGU is looking pretty poised here. First gold advantage of the game they've had now 35 minutes.
Ezreal goes down in mid, picks up a couple of minions, and there we go. Yeah, 500 gold for them. GGU, once again, grouping up. That was sort of the game plan you called from the very beginning, as they needed to kind of group up and make things happen. And make things happen they really have right here. And they're actually starting a Baron.
Hocoms have to be very careful about doing the Baron buff. There's so much about disengaging. You can't really run away if you get caught in the Baron pit. Everyone at Vulcan was back, so they see a small window, but this is very dangerous for them.
There we go. A lot of damage on the Cyclo. The Iceborne Gauntlet. Ooh, he jumps through the pillar. That was clutch right there.
So just managing to run in does pull GGU off the Baron. You could tell they were just kind of testing the waters to see if Vulcan realized what was up. They weren't really planning on forcing themselves into that Baron. They know they can't get their back stuck against a wall.
And this was Season 2, they could kind of bleed gold off the other team by making them ward over and over, but that Sight Stone actually helps them not get Baron baited as hard, which is nice. Blue buff, though, stealing away GGU. That Scumbag Minion actually blocks the Javelin. Zion Spartan, you got this, man. There you go, 77 gold in the blue buff, and GGU will continue the push.
So there's the Tear of the Goddess on Fat to make sure he doesn't run out of mana on Kha'Zix, and the blue buff on Zion Spartan. They are going to really siege this. This is the first actual 5-man siege we've seen from GGU all game.
And it's going to be pretty nice, actually, seeing Javelins, Void Spikes, and Mystic Shots come through, and of course Mashme with that Tear. Oh, they pop the Shirelles, but the slow is there. Can they find the battle? Pillar goes down as well. Look at that, through Shirelle as they disengage.
Not even close. The Shirelia's speed completely destroyed by the Trundle Pillar, and then the Trundle Pillar goes up to make the spears easier to land. Of course, that one misses, but they're going to continue poking down on the mid.
And they're putting down some really good damage. You're just seeing just things fly out there. The Trundle Pillar goes down to make just more slows. They've got a purple turret. Minions by themselves pushed up the top lane. That is a really good pickup. Here comes the engage. Xmithy looks for the dunk. Here he goes. He's going to find Nintendo a bit of damage. Look at the counter damage, though. Holy cow. Nintendo is tanky. Zion Spartan, though, not liking his life very much, nor his Bloodwater. They are very, very low. However, GGU manages to disengage again.
Trundle just saying, hey Jarvan, you're trapped in here with me as the fight keeps going. Oh man!
Oh man, they get one from Fat, and 1, 2, 3. They're picking up everything. Fat, he jumps away. However, he's going to fall down immediately to Karthus, but that was a 4-for-1 right there, and they're ready to keep pushing.
They have the Nidalee healing. They know there's an open inhibitor in the mid, and it's just Psycho Sid to defend. They might be able to end it on this push.
Well, the inhibitor is down. They've already got 2 super minions as well, and they've got 30 seconds until the next respawn. They group up. They go for the bottom turret right now. Psycho Sid goes in onto Mashme. He's going to take some counterattack damage, but he is still a pretty tanky man. Goes down to half, and the team is still here to push. Ezreal goes down as well. That is one turret dead. Psycho Sid goes in. He's been sheeped. He's going to fall down. That is the kill picked up. The ace. 15 seconds on respawn. Good game. University are going to look to find their first game, their first win here in the LCS. The next is all it's going to be, and that's going to be theirs.
And they did it with 2 really subs. A new Bloodwater in, Zion Spartan in mid,